Trust me. He's like, what song you want to play? He's like, something by The Who. We're going to try an old tune. What? What?
That was cooler than shit.
Yeah, like who gets to go to their first Umphrey show and sit in, like
It.
in the same night?
I can't believe how this is all played out. It's just like this magical dream that is kind of just that the internet just kind of created, and the band just dig what I do, and I feel really close with Jake. Like really gel, and I think that's clear to anybody that watched that interview.
Yeah.
And he just hit me up where he mentioned the live stream. He's like, "Hey, when we come to town, you're going to come play." And I'm just like, "Well, I'm not actually expecting it to happen, but that would be awesome. Of course, yes." And we had the Baltimore show, which was supposed to be at Pier 6, get canceled. And so I was like, "Oh man, that's not gonna happen." What a bummer. And then they opened these 2 Fredrick shows up there. And he just hit me up. He said, "Hey man, we're coming to town still. Like, you still want to sit in?" And I was like, "Absolutely." and I asked him, like, "So what do you want to play?" He's like, "Oh, we'll figure it out." And so I went there early, brought my rig, did a little sound check, and then we just went back in the tour bus, and he was like, "So what do you want to play?" And I was like, "Well, let's just do something that isn't crazy, that everyone will dig and enjoy." I was like, "Let's do a cover." And I was like, I've always liked you do the one with Eminence Front. I saw one YouTube video of them doing it with Herring, and I was like, that's such a crowd killer. And I don't think they had played it in a long time. I think it has been like 100 shows or something like that. But everybody just gonna listen to it on the phone. They got everything, whatever. We didn't rehearse, and then they called me up and we did it, and it was like the best feeling ever. I mean, I haven't gigged in 2 years, and they are just a tremendous band. You know that. But honestly, one of my favorite parts might have been the song, or there was 2 songs, I can't remember, right before they invited me up. That 2x2 smashed my face in. That was awesome. It was so awesome. So yeah, I don't know where you want to go from there, but I'm like still like,
No, I understand you. It's okay. You've got that post-show glow. I love it.
Yes, I am feeling it. I am. And I also just want to say that I met so many people at the show. It was like, so I went to the first show I went since the pandemic lifted was a Goose show. And I had a similar experience, but it was overwhelmingly, it was just a huge amount of support for what I do, like at the Umphrey show. Like, it was like, I felt, and we talked about this before. You're like, when you go to a show, you're going to be very welcomed. Like, people, it's an incredible community. And like, I felt that. I really deeply felt that. And with the crew and everyone, it was just like such a celebratory environment because everybody's so happy to be at a gig,
Yeah.
doing all the parts of it. But it was also so neat to like meet so many people that jump into the chats and I kind of know and personally meet them and have us all just get along great. It's overwhelmingly positive. I can't say anything else about it. It was fucking awesome.
I love this so much. I knew you were going to the show anyways, and I had a feeling that your sit-in was going to happen, and I just couldn't wait to talk to you about your whole experience. And I'm so happy that everybody was super excited to see you. And
it was great. Now, you just went to a show, right? Did I see you post something? You're with like your kids backstage or something?
Yeah, my first shows back were actually the 3 shows before that. Like, mine were the first 2 shows of the summer tour.
Right.
They played the Apple Valley shows up here. Those were like my first shows in almost 500 days. It was pretty crazy, but it was awesome because it was a mixed thing, because it was a pod show, and it's what it is.
No one wants to do those anymore.
But I was able to take my kids, and we were right on the rail, right in front of Jake the whole time. And because we were in our pod, nobody bothered us. My kids were fine. So it had a really good advantage of being a pod show. But it was so great to be back, and we got to take them backstage. And my daughter's been taking lessons with Joel since September of
Awesome.
Yeah, so she finally got to meet her piano teacher in person, and so that was awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, they're just an incredibly warm, funny, welcoming bunch of people who are just unassuming, humble, monster musicians.
Yeah.
It's like that was the whole vibe. I was like, these guys are complete freaking monsters. And for them to just, like, I know I'm a good player, but for them to treat someone who doesn't like tour and do it on the road, like to do it on the internet, and to have him be so warm and welcoming was just like, it was just the coolest shit ever. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're talking about. I feel the same way, like with my show.
Yeah.
I just started this show and just did this thing, and it's just grown, and the community involvement and excitement about it.
They dig it.
Yeah. It's like incredible. So I know exactly how you're feeling. It's hard to put it into words. It's an incredible feeling.
Yeah. So I'm hopeful to catch him again at some point.
I was going to ask, you've caught like the bug now. That's always like the thing. You come home and you're like, where can I go next?
well, I know. And, there's a lot of things already on the calendar, and as you know, bands are fighting for slots everywhere, and they're like putting together festivals everywhere because there's only so many places for people to play. And so you're seeing a lot of that happen. So I don't know. I don't have anything on the books yet, but I mean, there's 100% chance I will go to anything that's close.
You should go to Umphrey in October. You'd have to travel, but.
Is that the one in Iceland?
No, that one's in New York.
Oh yeah, you told me about this. I probably is it not sold out yet?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't think it is. I'm not sure, but we could probably find you tickets.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. All right. I will write myself a note because.
Yeah, it's like October. Umphrey is going to.
I remember you telling me that that's a big annual deal.
It's October 8th and 9th.
Yeah.
It's at the Capitol Theater too.
Nice.
Yeah, I've never been there, so I'm super stoked.
Yeah. I will check it out when we get off here.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be fun. And I'm going to Iceland. I'm excited about that.
Are you?
Yeah.
What give me the rundown on that. What is that like, and what is it exactly? Why Iceland?
Well, Stasik told me when they announced it before it was just one of the places that they've always wanted to play. Mm-hmm. And the venue is just absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you've ever seen inside. No. It's like the Harpa, I think it's called, and it's all red inside of this room. It's just incredible. And they just wanted to go to Iceland. So they were supposed to go March of 2020, but obviously that didn't happen. So they've rescheduled, and we're going March of next year. So it's 3 nights in Iceland. Yeah.
And now, how many people will go? How big is this venue?
I'm not sure how many the Harpa holds. I'd have to look that up. It was sold out, but then when everything happened, they were giving people the option of like, if you need the money right now, sell your ticket and whatever. And so then they released a few like recently.
And
I think they sold out.
Do they have, is it just the tickets and you got to figure everything else out, or do they have an all-inclusive thing?
They do have like their VIP program, their VIP thing. I don't know if that one, because like I'm doing VIP, but like I have my own Airbnb. So I'm not sure if like they offered hotel accommodations. Sometimes they do include that in their VIP packages. They might have this time with it being like another country to make it easy for some people. But
yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I will try to make Umphrey. That I'm only 3.5 hours from New York.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good time. They haven't done one of those in a couple years. So, and then with it being canceled and everything else, and they're doing it as 2 days now instead of 1 day. They were doing it 1 day with like 4 quarters of music, and it was just too much.
Yeah.
So doing it 2 nights, much better idea.
Love it. Love it.
That's awesome.
Well, what else is going on?
Well, I don't know. Let's see. You talked about your favorite jams from the night. You like that 2x2.
I really did.
Yeah, that Malchaise in the first set was really nice too.
It was. It was. I got to hang out on the side of the stage and watch most of it from the side.
Nice.
And it's such a pleasure watching a band like that. You know, because it's one thing when you're out and you're getting the production, but it's other thing is like when you're watching it stage side and you're hearing just the stage sound without it going through all the different stuff. That's like when you really see how tight they are and how much communication is happening on stage. It was great. It was an absolute treat. It was so much fun. It was great.
Did you go by yourself or did you take your wife with you?
So I actually was on vacation. I was on my beach week in Cape May, New Jersey with my wife and my kids when, you know, and they were coming through on Wednesday and I was like, I'm not sure it's going to happen, but if it does, I'm going to go. And then like Jake texted me like, I don't know, Sunday or Monday or something like that. And he was like, hey, you still coming? You know, pick which day you want to go. I was like, Wednesday. So I drove there. My wife stayed with the kids. I went straight to the thing. It was like probably 3.5 hours or so, maybe 4. And I had my cousin JC, who's in a local band here called Moody Moose, who's a huge fan. I've seen him, I don't know how many times, come so that he could hold the camera.
Nice.
And made sure we got footage. And he did a great job, and he got a pass, got to meet the band, got a poster, got all the signatures. Over the moon. Oh,
I bet. Yeah. What an awesome experience for him too.
Yeah. It kind of sucks because of the weather in that respect. But, you know, it's a summer show, whatever. I mean, what are you going to do?
Just happy to be back. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Just happy to be back. So, ready to see them in a large, proper venue, you know, and like they said, like we all just, no one wants to do pods. Like we really don't want to even do the drive-ins again anymore. Like
I think that was their last ones too.
I think it was.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the next time to be at like a proper venue, like really loud, you know.
And you're going to be in it. You're going to be in the people and just in it.
Yeah. Because when you're in, so that venue is in the Fredrick Fairgrounds, and they have a very tight noise ordinance and volumes that are allowed. So that's why they came back and did that long power set to finish it out, because they had to be hard stopped at 10, and they have to, and you had to wait for the lightning to stop, but they also have to keep it pretty low on the decibel meter out there, because believe it or not, it's like a residential area. They plopped a fairground right in a neighborhood, basically. Yeah, it's weird.
Poor planning on their part, for sure.
I don't know, or maybe the fairground was first. I don't know, but for whatever reason, there's houses everywhere. And so one of the things that I was talking now Showtime does great production. The sound and lights looked and sounded fantastic, but I want to see them like somewhere really loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know you do.
You will. Now that things are starting to get a little better, and
yeah, I don't know if Baltimore is allowing indoor shows yet, but like that was the reason I believe that they couldn't do the Pier 6 they normally play in Baltimore, because when they were booking it, the mayor still had everything closed down. They were like, well, we're not going to take a chance, and so they moved it and did 2 dates and so on and so forth. But so I don't know when the next one will come through, but I'll be there. I'll 100% be there. I'm a total fan for life. This is like awesome.
That's so great. I love it. And I knew you were going to have that experience. I told you that. So everybody in the groups were all excited. They're like, oh, Michael Palmisano's here. We saw him. He's here. Is he going to sit in? Everybody was all excited on the internet. And then people were live streaming it. So I was able to see your sit in as it was happening. I was so grateful.
Oh, I haven't seen that footage.
Yeah, somebody had it. I'll have to like think about who it was.
I saw a clip in Velociraptors for Jesus.
Okay. I wonder if it was just like one of my friends like on there was like they went live and I was like, oh my God. So I was watching. Yeah. It was so great.
It really was. It really was. I really don't know what else to say about it. I'm definitely still glowing.
Yeah, you can tell. You can definitely tell. I mean, is this the first time that you've done a sit-in with a big band like Umphrey's?
This is the first. I have played with other large bands here and there but these are people generally that, well, let me put it this way. This is the first time that the internet and you, the people watching it, got me on stage. Like, that is a wild phenomenon to me. And I'm hoping that that becomes a trend so that like when bands come through town that I have developed a relationship with, who've done live streams with me or whatever, do hopefully invite me to play, but also, and I talked to about this and they're down, come to the barn if you have an extra day and lay some tracks down and do something a little bit more, with a little more thought involved, not just wing it. So that's kind of what I would love to get to, is like, if this trend continues, kind of invite guests, bands that come through town to do a little bit into my world and hopefully have them invite me to do a little bit in their world and have it be like, just like that,
Awesome relationships.
That's my heart would like that to happen the most, So yeah, that's the first time anything like that has happened. It's very cool. It's very cool.
Yeah,
it really is, because the main reason is like, as much as like I do the internet thing or whatever, like it's for a band like that, especially for a player, for all of them, but for a player like Blake or Jake, see, I'm like getting like nervous now, to treat me as a musician on an equal footing. You know what I mean? To have the confidence of someone they've never seen play live or heard on a record, just seen YouTube videos of me just like teaching things on learn on the fly, for them to have no reservations whatsoever that I would do fine or even excel at it, really means the world to me. And it's just I looked back and I watched the video and I was just like, it wasn't like show stopping, but like it was a lot of fun. There were no glitches. Like, I'm supposed to be there, and I just felt like the universe was in alignment.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
They never make anybody feel unwelcome, and that trickles down into the community, but it starts with them and the crew. Is they never make anybody feel like they don't belong there.
It's very true, and it's just such an interesting band too. Like when we were doing sound check, Jake, I wish there was footage of this, but my cousin JC wasn't there yet. The entire sound check, we were doing country stuff. We're doing chicken picking stuff, like, and for those that I'm sure everybody that listens to this does know, but Jake's got an incredibly deep background in that style, right? Mm-hmm. And he does it about as good as anybody I've ever heard do it. Yeah. And then so very few of us get extremely proficient at multiple genres, feels, or whatever. For it to be like that, and then go into like that 2x2, and then to do like an old school rock song, and then like a ballad. It's just there's so many, like, so what I'm saying is the music reflects that everybody's included, because they really touch on like seemingly anything they want to,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of requires the audience to be very open-minded
Yeah.
and accepting as well.
Yeah.
So it attracts that similar kind of personality.
100%. You're
Yeah.
100% right, for sure.
Yeah.
So how nervous were you? Like,
I definitely had, about 3 beers in me. But I wasn't nervous. I mean, not in the traditional sense. So like I have played, hundreds, maybe 1,000 shows in my life. You know what I mean? And when I went to school, I went to a performance-based school, not a conservatory, where what you had to do when you went there is you had to play what are called these live playing workshops. And it's the cornerstone of their curriculum, where you play 10 times a week, 10 different songs that are in different genres, each with players you've never played before. And you have to learn it all. And you do that 10 weeks on, 2 weeks off until you graduate for a couple of years. There's no like, and so they really run you through the gauntlet. So by the time you get, and you play in front of all of your peers. So in the school, you have a guitar program, a bass program, drums, keys, vocals, lighting, sound engineer. And so let's say you sign up for, a Slayer tune on Friday at 1 o'clock. So you're going to have to learn it on your own. You get up there. They've already sound checked everything. The production people are working on production. The bass person shows up, whatever, 3, 2, 1, go. But you're playing full production, lights and sound and everything, to all of the other students that are on a break in between their classes. So no one leaves in between when they have a break. They just sit in the main concert hall and watch all of their peers. And so when you do that, by the time you get through that, you've done a couple hundred shows, and 100 of them you completely screw up, and 75 are pretty good, and 25 you might have crushed it, and everybody is like that. And so having that, having gone through that, and then after I graduated, came back to Baltimore and joined a local working band that did 110, 120 shows a year for 7 years or so. Once you hit the first note, all the jitters are over.
Yeah.
And that's the really long-winded way of saying that. But like everybody feels nervous no matter when they go live or whatever. It's just a thing of doing it live, whatever you do. But if you're doing it live, like you just have to start, and everybody knows as soon as you hit the first note, it's gone. It just evaporates, and the joy takes over.
The excitement and everything comes in.
Yeah, the adrenaline and all that. But yeah, I was just, when the storm came in, I was worried it wasn't going to happen because it was lightning and everything, and you never know how long those things are going to go.
For sure.
Yeah.
But the universe, again, in alignment, making it happen.
I swear to God, that's how I feel.
Because that's exactly what happened. Did anybody ask you for an autograph or pictures or anything?
Lots of pictures. It was very flattering. It was, and everybody thought I did a really, really great job. And everybody was incredibly nice. But yeah, it was wild. It's just so crazy to me. But it was also so nice, because even though I run YouTube and everything, the vast majority of my day is communicating with students on my website. And many students came out and went to that show, and I got to meet them in person. And so it's not just like other fans. These are like my actual students that I have long email correspondence with, that actually, it's how I make a living, support me and my family. And so to meet them for the first time, is awesome too. So like I said in the beginning of that video, it's like where the internet is connecting the digital and the real. and I'm like at the nexus of it in my own little tiny little niche. And it's gratitude is just my overwhelming feeling right now, you know? I mean, it's taken a lot of work, and it's been like 8 or 9 years now since I committed to going online instead of, you know, trying to get in bigger bands and all that. But it's feeling, yeah, a lot of gratitude right now. Very blessed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the barn, which is your space, and we didn't talk about that the first time you were on. So tell me a little bit about that.
It didn't exist.
Yeah. So tell me some more.
All right. Have you by chance seen any that or that one teaser I put out?
I did see, I don't know if it was the actual teaser, but I did see something from you.
Yeah, I put a teaser out where I'm playing a bunch of different instruments and just
that is what I saw. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, here's how it's playing out. Is my forever, I've always had to work in the house and juggle the work-life-home balance thing. We all know the struggles that are there. That became increasingly insurmountable when COVID hit, because we had just had our 4th child. So we had an infant, like literally the week the world shut down, you know? And so then we were in Maryland, so we were in full quarantine, shelter in place for months. So we had an infant, a 4-year-old, and then, you know, 2 school-aged children who were doing the virtual learning. So, and then I'm trying to actually record audio and video, and no one's sleeping. And on top of that, after 7.5, 8 years of work on YouTube with nothing ever getting recommended or trending ever, I start to trend, right? So I'm at every moment thinking like, oh my gosh, I just have to keep putting fuel on the fire. I've been working towards this goal like for a long time, but then it's just like, it became very difficult because you need to be quiet when you film, and they only film when they're asleep or gone. And if they can't go anywhere, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Yep. I know.
And that's why you see me in that time period, so many videos of like hair everywhere, like spit up on my shirt. Cause I'm just like, I gotta go make a video. I gotta like Annie, you gotta give me like 90 minutes. Like, I gotta go make a video. Like, I can't stop. The train is moving whether I'm on it or not. So I've always wanted to grow from regular guitar lessons to full band courses, right? To talk about how to fit in with the band and not just teach songs. So I started to look around for places to finally get my own place where that's where I go to work. I've never had that before. So once they lifted the shelter in place, I started looking around. And I didn't want to spend or couldn't spend much money, and I wanted to be loud. And so I was looking at all these different flex spaces and here and there, and they all wanted really long-term leases, and it's expensive. And I went in there, and it's these metal structures, right? And I was like, you know, this is all wrong. I need wood. You know, there's something about playing the bounce of wood that is much different than a proverbial tin roof, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I live in a very rural area. I was like, I wonder if anybody has a barn, like a party barn. And because no one's having parties, and that's kind of like a thing where I live, is people have these party barns on these big farms. And it just clicked. I have a family friend that I'm close with who has a farm that they grow corn on. It's on 70 acres. There's nothing here, but there's this barn, and she really doesn't use it for anything. She's had a couple weddings and parties, but she doesn't want it to be a venue. Like, this is a farm, right? It's an actively farmed place.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, you can be as loud as you want over there. And so I started going there, and basically I got a whole, it's been a work in progress because it didn't have heat for internet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so
Both
So
of which you need now.
both of which I very desperately need. Um, so, but now that enough time has come and whatever, so I went and got a full recording system and PA. So I have my drums set up at the bass area, I got a guitar area, I'm going to add keys. And basically I'm going to do two basic things is what you're going to see. You're going to see one, weekly, I'm shooting for weekly original lessons. So like I'll post something that I write and create like on YouTube, Instagram, whatever, where I'm playing all the different instruments. And then for people who were students on the website, I'll give them like the backing tracks. I'll make a long form lesson of how I did it, put everything together, and then give them the opportunity to play over the tracks, upload it to the community. And, you know, so the whole idea is like, this is what I did with this groove and this bass line. What would you do? This is what I'm thinking. You know, so to be a platform for people to create too.
Yeah.
The other part is I want to have bands there. You know, I want to do, I want to invite people to come on my channel, invite bands that are on tour or friends of mine that are local, and have it be my little way of having live music for you guys in a different setting, and also give back. Just my way of saying thank you too. You know, so it's that's what I hope happens. So kind of like a quasi, like imagine if Live at Daryl's House came with lessons. That's kind of it.
Nice. I like that. So do you think you would ever do like actual recording there and offer the space as a recording studio for bands, or it would just be?
No.
Okay.
No, because I well, it just wouldn't make any sense to me. Like I'd much rather invite them, have be no money exchanged, and have it be purely organic and, you know, whatever.
Just casual, just come and jam.
Yeah, I don't want to lease the space out or have it for rent for studio and have to move all my stuff out or whatever. Like, I'm extremely busy.
Yeah.
You know, so that would be very disruptive. You know, one of the main reasons for having the barn to do all these lessons and make all these tracks is for efficiency.
Yeah.
It's so I can go and do the drums, then I can move over to the bass, then I can move over to the guitar, then over to the keyboards or vocals if that's the way it goes. And it's just, you hit record, you go from one to the one to the one to the one, and then it automatically dumps in your computer. You sync them all up, choose which clips, upload, simple. But to set all that up takes a half a day or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have to set up and take down frequently, that's it defeats the purpose. And honestly, if bands want to come, like I'll get an audio engineer. We can make a cool record or whatever. But I don't want to charge them for it. I want to invite people into my world that genuinely appreciate, you know, that we connect. You know what I mean? That's what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Come to my house and hang out and jam.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, literally just like Live at Daryl's house. Like, you couldn't go and rent out Daryl's house, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But he's got friends that, you know, whatever. And so you would invite them to come, you eat dinner, you hang out for whatever, you make a small little mini show. And no one pays anybody anything. You know what I mean? Like he might pay his band, you know what I mean? But like, he's not, like CeeLo Green isn't being charged to be there. And Daryl's not paying, you know what I mean? Like he's pay his crew and all that. But that's kind of what I would like it to be. Something like that.
That's cool. I think that would be super rad.
Yeah. Because and the other part is that if bands do come through and they're different, you know, that forces you to do different cool things. You know what I mean? It forces you out of your lane.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for it. And Jake was all about it. He was like, dude, we'll come for 2 days. We'll just make an EP. We'll have no plan. We'll just write it in the studio and then we'll leave. It's like, done.
Of course he was all about it.
So, yeah. Yeah. Well, because he also, and you know this, you know, he's got his little layer, his zone on his family compound
Yeah.
of farm.
I've been there. It's an awesome space.
Have you?
I've been there twice. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And so he and I were talking at length about in person, not just on the live stream, about how cool it is to have the liberty to kind of be that loud and have all that gear there. And because he was asking me questions, he was like, "So what do you do like when it rains?" Because you know you hear it, right? You hear it on the ceiling. There's no insulation on the ceiling. And I was like, "Well, then we make rain tracks." He's like, "Love it." Exactly. You know, it's like how much reverb are you adding to the mix? I was like, just whatever it sounds like in the room that day. Maybe I'll move a couch to a wall to kind of like, you know, stop a bass trap. But, you know, I like it all being organic, at least right now. I dig that. And so he's like, okay, great. So like, we'll just come to the barn. We'll have no plan, whatever weather it is, whatever sounds we hear, if there's birds, whatever, we're just going to make music based on whatever the vibe is there. I was like, exactly. He's like, okay, got it.
Love it.
Doesn't that sound like it?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, completely into that idea. So anyway, yeah, that's the story with the barn. I want to find people like that, that dig it, that want to come and do something and have it just be free, just pure promotion on the channel, and it just like have it be great players and people I look up to and friends, and that's what I want. Because the main, you know, I pay the bills with my lessons, and so like that's why I have it, and that's what I want to focus on. I don't want to rent out my space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to stay focused and invite the occasional friends. You know,
For sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a very cool thing for you to be able to have now.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I made my own little space in the basement. I have this little like makeshift sound booth down here, and I'm so for it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I operated out of my house in my basement for a long time, and it was great. It was great. But it just became impossible. And I really, really wanted to grow. Like I bought this thing, and I like a drum pad. So I, you know, before I could, you know, play drums, and I got the little MIDI keyboard. But like as I'm playing it, it's like, yeah, I can make something that works for my purpose, for my students. But it's just like, it's just not awesome. And as someone who plays all these different instruments, who wants to get better at all these different instruments, this is like, okay, if I get a place and I start playing all the different instruments to make it, one, is going to be more organic. Two, I'm actually going to get better at all these things that I already want to get better at, but I don't have time to practice anyway because I'm answering hundreds of emails a day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, that's the other part. It's like, if you build it, they will come. Like if you do it and you put yourself in that scenario, and especially if people, your students are like expecting it, it forces you to do it. And as musicians, you know, we're all master procrastinators, you know what I mean? And it's like the artist thing, one of them at least. And so it's like it also adds that level of accountability. You know, it's like you go to a space like, oh, this is the place where we actually do real work. You know, it's that mindset, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think there's something to it. I can feel it.
Yeah. And exciting for your students to come to this cool space and create. And that's so cool.
Exactly. I'm stoked. I'm feeling, like I said, I've worked a long time and I've worked very, very hard, and I'm glad it's coming to fruition in the way it has. And it just feels good. It just really does.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's sweet. So are you going to do a reaction video of your sit-in?
Oh my God. I've gotten so many messages for that. I guess I have to because there are fun things in there. You know, there's a couple of places where I mess up. There's a couple of places where I try something that didn't work and I adapt. There's definitely some teachable moments in there. And so like Chris missed that first hit. It's a funny tune when you come out of it, the verse or after, but it's not every time. It's like, God, I can't remember. But like when you go back into the verse after the first chorus, it doesn't, when it starts that that riff again, it doesn't finish four full bars. It
Okay.
jumps on the third bar.
Okay.
And I didn't know if they were going to do that or not, because that was in the song. So one of the things that's always so interesting when you sit in with people you haven't played before, and anybody that's ever done any type of cover band work knows this is true. Every band knows, even the famous songs, everyone plays them a little wrong and a little differently. Everyone. Doesn't matter what the band is. So whenever you play and you sit in with somebody, and it's not something you learn note for note, it's a cover, you always have to know that there's a pretty good chance that they might add an extra verse or forget a verse, you know what I mean? Or add a part that isn't in there, or they don't play a part that should be in there, but maybe it'll fit, maybe it won't. So that's how you approach, sitting in and doing a very well-known cover with a very, good band. Like that's the mindset. And so I was looking over at Chris, like looking at everybody to see if they're going to get that part. And like a split second before it happened, like Chris catches my eye, and I'm like, you start with the head bob, like, are we doing the drop together? And he immediately jumped off the hi-hat and grabbed the drop, because he's fast, he's awesome. And that's why you do eye contact on stage. Like you probably noticed in the video, I didn't really look out in the crowd much.
Yeah.
I was intently focused on what was happening in the band,
For sure.
And so that was an example. Like I got off the stage and Chris was like, yeah, you knew that song better than we did. That was great. And I was like, well, yeah, you guys haven't played it in like forever. You just listen to it on your phone in the trailer, but it's little things like that when you play a lot of covers and you come from the world that I do, like that you expect,
Interesting.
Yeah. And so anyway, so yes, I'll probably do a video, because this conversation we just had, I think, is a pretty important teachable moment, and it's worth sharing.
For sure. And also your experience, I think, is going to be cool for people to hear about it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that'll probably come out, I don't know, in the next week or so. I came in to make a list. I don't know if you're a list person, but like every day.
I'm a list person big time.
Yeah. And and I've been on vacation for a week, and just everything's just piled up. So I got to get things moving. But yeah, that'll come out soon. I don't want too much time to pass, because I will do that video. I think people will get something out of it, and it'll just be cool to relive it again.
For sure, of course.
Like, yeah, it's a little cheesy, but to keep sharing the same thing over and over again because of how fucking happy I am. But yeah, it's
not cheesy, and you should share as much as you want to, because it's awesome anyways that you got to sit in with them, but it's awesome the way that it happened. And I seriously don't know anybody else that can be like, oh, this was my first Umphrey show and I got to sit in. So
yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. So deal.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have. I'll let you go and get to your pile of stuff. There's nothing else that you have.
I will. How's your 100 days of positive change going?
It's going good. We're almost to the 100-day. It's pretty crazy. It's a really, really cool thing to be a part of, because we always kind of go in with like one mindset of where you think you're going to go, and a lot happens and changes in 100 days. And it's totally really cool to kind of see where you're shifting your positive change to, and where that is showing up now in your life. So it's cool. I've done this a couple times, and it's fun to do every time.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I mean, every now and again I see you post something on Instagram, and I'm always just like, yeah, that's a good thing, you know, like to set a long-term, you know, goal like that, to have that just, you know, be a part of your life. I mean, I don't know about you, but like, man, for this pandemic, it's been like just treading water, and we're all just like, you know, disconnected, drinking too much, and like out of shape, and all the different things. And just like, I dig what you're putting out there into the universe. I need some of that.
Definitely join in. That's the brainchild of Bayless's wife, actually.
Really?
Annie. Yeah, she started that a couple years ago, and we do like meetups, and we do like a group online, and it's a whole really cool like little community of people that are doing this whole positive change thing. It's cool, and it's nice to have like those like-minded people within the community too. Like you said, to have that kind of like kick in the ass right now, because
Totally.
it's like treading water. Some days it's just Groundhog's Day, and there's little pieces of joy, but you're just like, it's heavy sometimes. So
yeah, it totally is. Well, lastly, just because you brought it up, Bayless has a very funny sense of humor.
yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
At first I was trying to figure it out. I was like, I'm pretty sure he likes me, but I haven't come across a dry sense of humor like this in a while. But eventually I started pushing back on him with some things, and he really appreciated that.
Yeah, that's what he liked.
Totally
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, my gut feeling is this is a very funny person, and he's just fucking with me.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah. And so I started giving it back to him, and he immediately lit up.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. That's awesome. That's really awesome. And you had great encounters with everybody else in the band too. Everybody was awesome.
Everybody's awesome. Yeah. Everybody's awesome. Like I said, as you know, Jake and Stasek are the ones that like, you know, have a rapport with, and like, you know, we've been like texting, and you know, we're always following what we're doing. But the whole rest of the band, I mean, they're just great. They're great people. I'm a huge fan of all of them. I mean, Chris has very quickly become one of my favorite drummers I know about.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone in the band is like this. But like, once I started listening to the band, and then, you know, seeing different things getting recommended to me on YouTube, different shows or whatever, you know, I'm like, wow, this can do freaking everything. And then when I found them do the freaking Tool cover where Chris is singing it, and I was like, this is really next level bananas, because Tool, and this is one thing Stasek and I have in common. Tool, it might be both of our favorite bands, and we both agreed, like, you know, if there's ever a band that no matter what they come through town, you go, it's Tool. And so much of that, at least for me, it's all of them. It really is. But it's to see Danny Carey. It's to see it be possible, you know, to see that it's not a machine. And to see someone do that and then sing it.
Yeah. For sure. You're like, let me just pick my face up off the floor right now.
Yeah.
I think that's mine. Please. Can I have that back?
Pretty much. Yeah, it's that's the thing with the band, is that I'll think I get it, you know, and then somebody will text me something, or YouTube will recommend me something, and I'll see it and I'll be like, God damn, they can do that too? What the hell is that? You know?
That's how I felt about the Talking Heads cover they did during Red Rocks. Did you listen to that yet?
Yes.
Oh my God, I've listened to that so many times.
It's unbelievable. I need to
like,
go to
why
Red
is
Rocks.
this so perfect for them?
I'm such a big Talking Heads fan too.
Yes.
Huge Talking Heads fan. There's a Talking Heads cover band here in Baltimore that only plays like 3 or 4 times a year for like select very big things, and I go to almost all of them because it's just awesome. I love that band. And yeah, Red Rocks, that whole run. I need to go to Red Rocks. I need to go to Red Rocks.
I went in 2019 was the first time that I went. And
Yeah.
I will tell you, there were times during those nights, we missed the first night because my brother-in-law was getting married, but the second 2 nights we went, and I just look around and I'm like, oh my God, like, I can't even believe that I'm actually here. Just the rocks and the music and the atmosphere. It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The stairs
I hear
suck though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, next year or the year after, maybe I'll try to make it out there. Maybe you can too.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'll see you at Bowl. I will definitely be there. So.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna look at it right now.
Okay, and if they're sold out, let me know. We'll get you there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
We'll do what we can. We'll put a call out into the community.
I have I'm not worried about that. I feel like that one will work itself out.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, great to see you again, my friend.
Yes, it's great to see you too. And I'm so happy that you got to do this and you got some awesome things going on. So congratulations.
All good things. All good things. And let's keep in touch.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks again for having me on.
Take care.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.